What's up, everyone? I thought I would do a video on the topic of prophetic dreams slash rapture dreams. I'm a Life Path 11, and so it is common for Life Path 11s to have visions. And when I sleep, I don't normally dream, and if I do, I normally do not remember them. But when I do remember them, they tend to be prophetic dreams. They tell me certain messages or certain important events that might happen. And this happens to me a lot. I don't share them often with people, but like 9/11, I remember I had a prophetic dream of that, and I remember that that happened. When that happened, I saw it like 2 or 3 months before it happened, and then it happened. And so it's very uncommon for me to dream unless it is a prophetic dream. Now, just a couple weeks ago, I would say, let me see, check my notes. It was April 1st, so about a month ago, I had a prophetic dream slash rapture dream. And the strange thing about that is it was just so real and surreal at the same time that it stuck with me. And it's been sticking with me, and it was so vivid, and I remember every little detail of it. Well, I would say it was a rapture dream and a prophetic dream. But it started off, I was just walking down by where I live, and there's a small bridge with a river over it. And there was this plant, like a manufacturing factory facility, and near there, but there isn't one there now. Anyways, I was walking there, and I walked into the plant, and I I saw basically what happened was I saw the emblem on the plant. Now that it was kind of like a Chinese emblem. It wasn't it wasn't in English, and it wasn't in Korean either. So the story goes like, okay, I'm walking over the bridge into the river, and I meet this person, and I see the plant, and I see a cloud, and here's the emblem, and here's this cloud, and this and the emblem on the plant, it's on a plant. The cloud goes into straight into the emblem. And the emblem is a Chinese word, and it kind of dissipates into this emblem, like goes up and dissipates. But I it, at first it just seemed kind of weird because I didn't know what the emblem meant, the logo. So I walk over to this guy, and I'm like, what does the emblem mean? Like, what does the logo mean? And he looks at it, and I don't know this guy. He's some Asian guy, and he looks at me and he says, it's Yangban. Now, Yangban were a untouchable class back in the Joseon dynasty in Korea. And it wasn't like a normal they were the aristocrats. They were like the untouchables, people that were like way up in society that you couldn't go up to a yongbon and say whatever, or have tea with them, or have a drink with them, or eat with them, because they had such a high status that they weren't part of the common folk. And I'm like, yongbon. And I'm like, because it was in Chinese and it wasn't in Korean. So I'm like, Yangban. So I was thinking, okay, in this dream, I was like a prophet. And I was like, what does this mean? Does the coming of Christ, is there a coming of Christ that's going to happen? Because I thought maybe the translation meant like, the Messiah is coming, by it going into the Yangban, the cloud going into the Yangban and dissipating into the logo. And then I had these, they were like really like Secret Service type of guys. Uh, they were like, get into the car. And I was like, why? And they're like, you better get into the car now. Because they drove up to me and they're like, you better get into the car right now. And I'm thinking, okay, because I don't normally like to go out and just jump in a car with anyone. I mean, I did that when I was younger, just like jump in a car with someone that I didn't know. But now that I'm older, I don't do that shit anymore. I'm kind of weary. Too many freaks and weirdos I've ran into. Anyways, they say get into the car now, and I know they're Secret Service, and they're driving into up to my apartment complex, and there are like important Korean diplomats like Moon Jae-in, like the president of Korea, and some other like diplomats. Or not diplomats, but like politicians, Korean politicians. And we're driving up to there, and they're like, "You are a prophet, and you know what's going to happen. You know Yangban is coming." And the whole time I'm hearing, they're saying Yangban is coming. And I see Moon Jae-in sitting at my apartment complex, and they're all, and these other like Korean officials sitting at my apartment complex waiting for me to arrive. Now, they said, you're a prophet and you know that the coming of the Messiah is coming. Because I think, from what I'm suspecting, is like, there's no real translation other than Jesus Christ being Yangban, I guess. At this point, because I didn't know what was going on. So I wake up, and then I'm like, whoa, I had a prophetic dream. This thing was too real not to happen. And so I'm not a religious person. I mean, I went to private schools. Like, I went to a Lutheran school. I went to a Baptist school. I even went to a Methodist college, and I'm just not really religious. I can't buy into the fact of like some white guy telling me that, they know what God wants. And plus they always look at me like I'm the spawn of Satan or something like that, like, because I question their whole concept of spirituality and religion. But anyways, Revelations is like one of my favorite books of the Bible. I mean, I studied the Bible for a year at the Methodist college, but it wasn't like my track. It wasn't like my focus or anything. I wasn't doing religious studies. But I realized there is something about this dream, and there's some mention of it in Revelations. Anyways, I have it written. Now, this is from Revelations 1 through 7, okay? It says, Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all peoples on earth will mourn because of him, and so shall it be. Amen. Revelations 1 through 7. And I just thought, how strange, this Bible verse, like mentions Jesus coming, or the Messiah coming on the cloud. Now, like I said, I'm not real religious. I'm not like a holy roller for Christianity in any way, because I just can't buy into this whole indoctrination concept of religion that is based around one person, one mortal human being's idea and their interpretation of the Bible. I look at the Bible as fairy tales, and I look at it in a scientific view or a theological view. I just can't sit there and just buy into some fat white guy screaming about the Bible when he has no understanding of the Bible. No matter how much you've studied the Bible, it's not that easy to interpret. It's not something, I've read the Bible, and I was an English major, and the Bible is not easy to read. It's not like first level elementary grade reading, because you're talking about all these lineages in the Bible and all these, people just pick and choose whatever verse they want. And like I said, I'm always getting in fights with people who are ministers or pastors, or I was never treated well, by Christianity. They always saw me as like a heretic, even when I worked for, a religious based organization, they called me a heretic, because I questioned their concept and their idea of what religion and Jesus Christ is. So to me, I just can't buy into the fact that everything is Christianity. There are talks in Buddhism where they say, Maitreya, who is like the coming, the next coming Messiah or the next Buddha, will arrive to fix things on earth. So, every religion has that. I think Muslims have that, where they talk about, the next prophet Muhammad is coming back to save the earth. And the Jews, they don't believe in Jesus Christ, but they still think, their Messiah is going to come back to earth and save them. So it's really hard for me to digest these things, because I think every religion has their concept of a Messiah that's coming to save them. So, the best that we can all do is just, wait and see. But like I said, I'm not a religious person, but I like Revelations. I think Revelations is an interesting thing. I think John of Patmos had some psychic abilities, because he seems to understand and know what is going on at that time, how it was relating to what was going on during the Roman Empire and all that. But, he could foresee into the future that Babylon, being the United States, would go through the same things. And I think at this time and place, there is this concept that maybe through my prophetic dream or rapture dream, that maybe there is this Messiah coming. Maybe he's not someone that is coming on a cloud, but maybe someone who is born and who is like a Christ-like figure, archetypal Christ figure, where, he's maybe a young child now or whatever, and he's trying to give people the information they need in order to find their way of redemption. Anyways, I think I'll talk more about this later, but I think in this prophetic dream specifically, that we're on the cusp of of some biblical events that are taking place right now. So I think on my next thing I might discuss that, or my next video I might discuss that in a little bit more detail. But yeah, I just felt that the prophetic dream was quite unusual. That it was nothing like I've ever dreamt before, and then to be called by these high officials that they were saying I was a prophet, that I was foreseeing something, which kind of threw me back because I was like, I'm just some average Joe that no no one cares about, nothing special about me. So, but yeah, maybe I'll talk something else about how I see these events unfolding. But as far as the dream itself, I think there's something to be looked into. I think we are in biblical times, especially with the advent of the plague happening. So, yeah, anyways, Manji, I don't know if you guys like these vlogging videos, but I'm just doing them until, situations change. Maybe when marijuana becomes legal in Kansas, I will do more divination videos, but right now I'm just going to do some vlogging videos. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.